Yep. I'm Jasmine, and
I'm Emma.
We're actually twins. We're identical twins, and we're in Queensland at the moment.
Yeah.
So we were caring for our mum. She had an autoimmune disease called scleroderma. She was diagnosed when we were about 10-ish, around then. But it wasn't until in high school where we started our actual caring duties, like picking up more chores around the house, cooking, cleaning,
Yeah, I'd say that's about right, yeah.
Yeah.
And then when we went to high school, it was kind of full-time. So our dad worked full-time.
So when we went to uni, we started, caring more full-time.
So we started attending uni full-time, and then between each of our schedules, each day off, we would allocate to be home and looking after our mum, doing everything around the house, helping her out, helping her to get to the toilet, getting medication, that type of thing.
Breakfast, lunch,
dinner.
Yeah.
It's pretty stressful, but we actually quite enjoyed it.
It's weird because you don't really think about it as picking up extra work. You just think about it as doing more work around the house. So for us, it wasn't really like, oh, it's this big responsibility. It wasn't until a social worker, pointed out to us that
not normal.
It's not a normal thing to be doing that type of stuff. So, and then when we went to see Ronnie, she was like, yeah, you're a carer. And we were like,
no, we're not. We're just helping out.
We're just looking after our mum. It's what you do.
Yeah.
But I would say it definitely got stressful when we were going to uni.
Yes.
Because we were both full-time students and full-time carers.
Yeah. It was, I wouldn't necessarily say different. Like, most of my friends knew that, like, our mum was sick and that we were looking after her more during the weekends. So it was more, instead of spending time with friends on the weekends, we'd do as much as we could with our mum as a family.
Yeah.
So we'd take beach trips and stuff while she could.
Yeah. I think I felt more different in university because, I mean, I was younger than everyone in my class. I didn't turn 18 until about a year into university. So I couldn't go out anyway. But I found I was excluded a lot from social events and I wasn't able to attend them because I had to be at home. Yes. So that's where I think I felt the most different, was in university.
Yeah,
but it's easy to understand how people can feel really left out and different in high school.
Yeah. I'd agree. I found that, like my whole class would go to the movies and you couldn't go to the movies because you had to be at home at a specific time to take over the role that Jazz was doing to give her a break when I came home.
Or so I can rush off to uni.
Or she could rush off to uni. Like, there was always like 20 minutes in between where like we'd pass each other walking and be like, hi, bye.
Yeah.
She's off to uni and I'm coming home to help mum out. So I'd say that freedom you would normally get, we didn't necessarily get, which is fine because we enjoyed it, but you definitely feel more left out when you've got that extra freedom.
Yeah.
After high school. That's what I found anyway.
Kind of. So like it's one of those things where I did kind of find it annoying at times. It would get really frustrating that I just couldn't sit in my room and be alone. I had to be constantly doing other stuff, or like I would finally get 5 minutes break and mum would need something. But at the end of the day, she's also our mum.
Yeah.
So you kind of,
it was,
everything we did, it was out of love. It wasn't necessarily because we had to.
Like, I don't think there's necessary resentment, but I think there is an overall frustration that we did have to do it alone. But it's also the other way, is our mum felt like she was a burden to us as well. So it's like, she thought we were a burden and it was also super frustrating, but we all loved each other and we did it out of love.
As much as we didn't like doing those things, she didn't like us having to do them either.
Yes, because she wanted us to be normal teenage kids and we just weren't. And we weren't anyway. We enjoy our family time and we did.
I enjoyed spending time with mum.
Yeah.
So That's a good question,
I
actually.
don't think we did.
No, I think there would be a couple of outburst moments of just frustration.
I think I yelled and cried a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I went to therapy a lot, so I got to talk to a therapist a lot about it. So that really helped me.
Yeah, we did a lot of counselling.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time with a couple of friends. Like, if things got, like, I just got super frustrated and Jess was home, I was like, no, I need to leave. Like, just getting myself out of that situation. And, like,
we were lucky enough to have that, though.
Yeah, we were lucky enough to have friends that understood that, like, if I texted them going, I need to leave, like, they would come pick me up and would go have coffee somewhere or, like, go to the movies, because they understood that it was just frustrating sometimes.
Yeah.
But other than that, we're still dealing with that.
Lots of therapy still.
We're still processing our emotions from that time.
Yeah.
And we still will be doing that for a while, I think.
Yeah, so we met Ronnie through Carers Queensland, and then I went through FSG and saw a social worker through FSG, and so that's basically it was the first Young Carers program we participated in, and that they had, and it went really well. And then we went back again. Ronnie invited us back.
Yeah. And so, like, when we went up there, we were like, we want to help.
Yeah.
Like, is there anything we can do? We want to be supportive, because we knew at the end of the day our caring journey was coming to an end.
It wasn't.
So we thought, well, if ours is coming to an end, we might as well help other people. And so she's helped us a lot. Yeah, and I think it would have been a lot harder if we hadn't met Ronnie.
Yeah.
Especially towards, like, we met Ronnie towards the end of our caring journey.
We had one retreat with Ronnie, and then Mum passed, and then the second one was 2 weeks after she passed.
Yeah. So I think it, like, the kids that go up there, I think are just super thankful and lucky, which is.
It gave us the opportunity to connect with people who were in the same situation, which I didn't realize I needed. So when we first got up there, they had the entire morning planned, and we just spent the entire morning talking with other people our age.
Venting.
We were just venting for like 2 hours with people we had never met before, and we're still friends with those people today.
Yeah, we're still friends with Sarah.
Yeah, and I didn't realize I needed that as much as it actually really helped.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and then she helps with, like, relaxation and meditation. And
she gives you the tools to cope at home.
Yeah.
So, like, everything you learn, like relaxation, meditation, art therapy, journal therapy, it's all stuff that you can take home to do. So if you're ever feeling frustrated, you can do that stuff at home.
You can always message someone that you've been on a retreat with and be like, hey, I'm struggling, I just need to vent for a moment. And they can they can empathize. Like, our friends are great, and they can, like, they can sympathize with us, but they don't really understand. Like, they don't know what it's like. But these people, they know what it's like. So they can be like, oh, I 100% get that. This is what I do, and I find this helps. Yeah, like, it's great. It honestly changed my life, which sounds like a big thing to say, but it really did.
Yeah. So we came on as Young Carer ambassadors in 2017.
So just after 2 months after our mum died, Ronnie reached out and was like, because you're, like, no longer caring, you have all this free time. I would really like you guys to come on board and to be an ambassador for people who have been in your situation and get the word out, and just be an advocate for young people who are in a caring role. So we've done that. And at the moment,
we volunteer our time at retreats.
Yeah, we go up
and help, and not necessarily mentor, but connect with the kids. Stay the night, participate in all the activities they do. Just give them advice, really.
And on the behind the scenes, we help come up with ideas. We go to fundraisers. We're currently doing social media. So all of the social media is done by
on their
us
Facebook
at the moment.
And Instagram is all done by us. We're in the middle of helping with fundraising ideas, event planning,
all the fun stuff.
But overall, we're just helping her out. We're trying to raise awareness, really. Yeah.
Just to know you're not alone. It really, it does change it dramatically, the perspective that you have. Because it's really easy to get down in the dumps and do the woe is me thing. But then when you broaden your horizons and you realize that there are like thousands of other people going through the same things, it really puts it into perspective as well. Yeah, I agree. I would say my advice is always therapy, and because I don't know.
You really do need a place where you can vent.
Yeah, to someone who's doesn't have anything to gain from it. So like, yeah, they're not biased to like your family and they're not biased to you. Yeah.
And also seek out resources. Like, you never really know if you're eligible for something unless you try. And we found that out the hard way. We didn't realize we were eligible for anything. And then it just turned out that Carers Queensland were like, yeah, you can go to this retreat. And we weren't part of anything. We were barely part of Carers Queensland. And then we went up to the Carers Foundation and one of the girls was talking about FSG, and then we became part of FSG. Yeah. But so I would say seek out resources and seek out people that can help you, like therapy, counseling. If you're a young carer, speak to your school.
Yeah.
Because they won't know anything about it unless you tell them.
Yeah,
like our school was well aware that we were helping out.
Yeah, we schooling is a big one, because if for instance a 13-year-old is the sole carer and provider for their family, it's really hard to do schoolwork on top of that responsibility.
Yeah.
So if the school doesn't know, they're not going to be able to help.
And I'd say the same if you're working. Like if you're juggling a part-time job as well as caring for a family member, I'd also let them know.
Yeah. I told my uni way too late. I told my uni 3 months before Mum died that I was in a caring position.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it's something that it's not necessarily you're ashamed of it. It's just something you don't advertise to people, right? So like, I was like, oh, they don't really need to know. Like, I don't. And then when I told them, they were like, oh, we can help you with all of this stuff. Like, we can provide on-campus counseling. We can help you academically. We can. And I was like, oh, I should have told you this 12 months ago. It would have changed my entire university experience.
Really just advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
You're just not alone.
Yeah, you're not alone, but also that it can happen to anyone, anytime, anywhere.
At any age.
Like, it's so easy for people to sit back and judge and be like, oh, you know, I would have done this differently. And it's like, well, it may happen to you one day. It only takes one diagnosis or phone call, and then you're in that role. And it doesn't matter how young or old you are. It can happen.
And it doesn't necessarily have to, like, for us, we talk a lot of the time about full-time carers, like whether they're full-time parents looking after the disabled children, or like us who were in a semi-full-time role. But like there are a lot of kids that do things without even realizing.
Oh yeah, like siblings. Like siblings are disabled, like when their brothers or sisters are disabled. Yeah, I feel they get looked over quite a bit because they're young, but they're still affected by it. They still have to do more, or their parents' attention isn't necessarily on their life. It's more on the other kids. Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, like us, like at the Carers Foundation, we want to help people, but we can't help people unless they reach out. You know, we can do so much advocating for unpaid carers, but we need them to reach out to us to help them.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, reaching out is just the start.
It's the first step.
It's the first step, and it's the most important step. And that's about it.
I don't think I could even imagine trying to do it on my own. We were extremely fortunate that we also have Dad in the picture. Like, a lot of the people that come out are single parent families. They're the only person, like teenagers, they're the only person providing an income. I couldn't even imagine doing that.
No, I don't even, a lot of the kids especially, come out with depression, suicidal thoughts because, you know, they're dealing with this burden on their own and they haven't had a break. Like they're going to school, they're going to work. By the time they finish work, they've got to get home and cook dinner for their siblings and their mum who can't look after them.
Yeah.
You know, the sole provider. And I don't think I could do that.
I mean,
not without help anyway.
Yeah. I commend people that are able to do it by themselves because we were really fortunate that we didn't have to. When Mum was sick, it was he was going to work, so he was the income provider for our household.
Yeah.
Which meant we weren't able to work because we were at home looking after Mum, and then we were at uni, so we didn't have an income ourselves. So Dad was the income, and then he also on the weekends he took more of the caring role, just because
it gave us
he was home.
And it's. Yeah, I wouldn't even call it caring. Like, it's so hard. It is caring, but it's more just spending time with family. Like, you know, it's like if it was a good day for Mum, we'd go to the beach and take our dog for a walk, or like, you know, go up to the shops, or just get out of the house, go for a drive even. But if it was a bad day, we'd all just sit on the couch, watch TV. Dad played a big role in helping us mentally, I think.
And he was Mum's emotional support as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every day.
I used to talk to Mum about it as well.
Dad was more of my venting outlet.
Yeah, I used to talk to Mum all the time, so we used to have a lot of heart-to-heart. So, yeah. Yeah, grief isn't exactly what people say it is. So people talk about 7 stages of grief and how, what it's all like for them. But for me, I did all of my grieving before Mum even passed away, because she was in hospital for a month and a half, and then she was in palliative care. And I did a lot of my grieving while she was in hospital. So when she passed away, it wasn't exactly a sadness I felt. It was freedom. And it sounds really bad, but it's so normal to feel that, because all of a sudden I could just go and live a normal life. Like I didn't have to be bound to looking after her. I could just go to the movies whenever I wanted to. I didn't have to worry about it.
And it felt really weird.
It feels so guilty, but it's so normal. And I think people don't understand that enough.
So what have you learned?
That, I don't know, grief isn't exactly what people say it is, and it's not a textbook thing, and it's really personal to the individual. Yeah. And that just because people say you're going to feel all these things doesn't necessarily mean you will. You will. And I think for me, that was my biggest learning curve.
My biggest learning curve was life doesn't stop.
Yeah.
You know? Like everyone was like, oh, your life is going to stop. Like you're going to be so heartbroken. And it's like, yeah, it was heartbroken, but like life keeps going. And you've got to, like,
you just kind of have to move on.
Move on. And as bad as that sounds, the best thing you can do is make the steps to move forward on with life, which is like, you know, we were overcome with grief by Mum, but we were also helping other people in a carer's roles with Bonnie while that was happening, and that helped us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was a big wake up that the world just doesn't stop, because I took 3 days off uni and then went straight back.
Yeah.
Because
I was working, so I went to work.
Yeah.
You also, as sad as it sounds, you realize who your real friends are as well.
Yeah.
You know,
it's amazing how many people can't deal with it because they can't handle it. And it's like, you can't handle it. I'm living it.
Yeah.
Grateful for my family and friends and the support network that I have.
I would also agree. I'm thankful for the support network. I'm thankful for my dog Arlo, who's chewing on the chair here. And I'm thankful for Ronnie. Ronnie does a lot for us.
Yes.
And I think she deserves to know that.
She deserves the recognition.
Yeah.